Hey guys, welcome to the Whimsical Workshop. Can you believe we are on month 11 of our Imagine quilt block? This month we are going to be doing the Inspire block, which also will be turned into a door hanger. So let's get started. Yay! All right, we are in the home stretch of the Imagine quilt block of the month. We are on month 11. If you have just tuned in, this is a block of the month that we designed with a local quilt shop, MulQueen Sewing. And each month we do a block for the block of the month along with a bonus project for you to do, whether you want to do the quilt or just the project or both. The whole project coincides with their Aurifil Thread Collector Club. So each month with our pattern, you would also get 3 large spools that I have color coordinated to match that month's projects. And in the end of the whole club, you end up with 36 beautiful spools of Aurifil 50 weight thread. That is a great collection on its own if you haven't had any Aurifil thread, or to add to your existing collection. So make sure, if you haven't, to follow the whole playlist on the YouTube channel. We've got them all linked right on the front page for you, but we are on month 11, which is exciting. So this month is the Inspire block, which looks like this. It's a nice long block. Let's get it straight for you. There we go. And so this block was so pretty on its own. What we did for the bonus project this month, we made it nice and easy, and we turned it into a door hanger. So you can just hang this guy up on the front door, on your office door, on a bedroom door. It is a perfect size to hang up with like just a 3M hook. So I'm going to show you how to put this together. It's going to be a nice, short, easy one for you this month. All right, so what you're going to need this month to do the block is the fabrics as listed on the pattern, the 3 Aurifil threads for the month, and then I also pulled a royal blue thread from month 4 to finish the edges. You're going to need a piece of fusible fleece that's a little bit bigger than this block, which will measure, let me give you a measurement, 15 by 44. I like to use fusible fleece for these smaller projects. It just makes it easier and quicker to baste, but you could just use straight cotton batting if you'd like. So you'll need that. And you're going to need a dowel. This is a 1/2 inch dowel that is 16 inches long. I'm pretty sure this wasn't cut. I think this was just bought this way. And you'll also need a cord to tie for the top of your door hanger. I have this cute little polka dot ribbon that I have, but you can use any kind of ribbon or color that you want to match this. So we've got those. So let's get started for this. So first, let's move all this stuff out of the way. Oh, and the last thing you're going to need is backing fabric. So I picked the light blue that is the little scallops to use for my backing fabric, but you can use whatever you want to make it match. All right, so let's push this aside, and then we're going to talk about how to put, well, first let's talk about the threads and where we're going to use them. The ones that came in the club this month are these 3 yummy colors. I used the purple for the lettering, I used the light blue for the outer scallop, and I used this gray blue for the inner scallop. It's also great to do blanket stitching on either dull fabrics or on pastel fabrics. It sort of blends in with everything. It's a great quilt. It is also a great color for quilting. If you don't want your quilting to show over multitudes of colors, it'll just blend in. So we're going to use those for all our blanket stitching. And then when we're all done, we top stitch the outer edge, and that's what I used the month 4 bright blue for, because it just worked great with that background. So that's why I pulled this guy out. All right, so to get started, you're going to need to go back to video 1 in the playlist and see how to do fusible applique the Whimsical Workshop way, because this one has a lot of it. So let me pull my pieces out. I've already gone ahead and prepped all the pieces. So the first one is actually just the background with the word Inspire. How did I line up my letters? I folded this in half, made a center line, and I centered my letters on there that way, and that made the positioning a little bit easier. I still guesstimated in between to try to make it just feel right. but you can use that center seam to position your letters. Once you're done with positioning all your letters on here, you are going to stitch it with the purple and just stitch around the edges. I used a blanket stitch. You could use a satin stitch. You can use a zigzag stitch. You could do whatever you like. If you do more decorative stitches, you will need to add a stabilizer to the back. I did not need that for just blanket stitching. Then the 4 corners are just the little circles. Again, we just centered them on there and pressed them, and then I stitched them out in purple again. So that got all my purple stitching done. Then, now to do the scallops. I'm going to give you a couple tips on that. First, we've got the short side scallops. Okay, all I did is there were only 4 scallops going on there. I folded this in half, started at the center line and worked out, and then wanted to make sure I had a 1/4 inch on either side of the scallops, right here on the edge and right there on the edge. I also pulled it about 1/8 of an inch away from the edge of the strip, and that was so that when I sewed this in the seam, we caught it, but I didn't cut so much of my scallop off. And then when I did my blanket stitching, which again I used the gray on the inside and the blue on the outside, you can see I only did the arc of the scallop. I didn't do the bottom straight edge because that's going to get caught in the seam allowance, so therefore we don't want that bulky thread in there. So you're just going to do that outer edge. It also makes it a little easier to do it because you could just go down, turn around, go down. You didn't have to break your threads. And when I did these, I just went around, stopped here, lifted my needle, dragged it over here, and did around. And I didn't even clip, here I'll show you. I didn't even clip those little leader threads in between right there. You can see, I think, there's one right there. I didn't even clip them because they're going to get caught in the seam allowance. So again, no need to go back and futz with them. So that will be your top and bottom. You're going to do 4 scallops, and I worked from the center out. Now for the long sides, you're going to have 18 scallops on this one. Okay, and so I found the center line on this, the center line on this. I folded it in half to make my life easier. And I started right here and I counted out 9, and then I did 9. And the same thing, I flipped it over and I worked with 9, and again, tried to leave a 1/4 inch on the edge. You could scooch them up a little. It's okay if the seam gets caught right on the edge scallop. It does not look funny. And again, I blanket stitched the same way. I didn't stitch across the bottom, just the arcs. And now I have these ready to go on here. I found this a lot cleaner and easier, and it looks so much nicer to not have like this not a line, because once we sew this on here, it automatically gives you straight bottoms on everything. So we're going to first sew these to these, and then we're going to take our short sides and sew the little dots on either side, and this will create the top and bottom. I'm going to get my borders on, and then we'll come back and talk about how to finish off the door hanger. Okay. Alright, so here it is with all its borders sewn on, and I have gone ahead and followed the directions for my fusible fleece and pressed it on here. You notice the fleece is bigger than the door hanger, and that's because we're going to trim that up with a ruler and rotary cutter to make sure it all matches. Alright, so now that's all squared up, what we're going to do next is cut our backing to match. Then, the other thing we need is a piece of fabric that is 12 by 4. And this is going to be the dowel pocket on the back of the door hanger. It's also, it's basically a glorified sleeve. So we've got that, and we've got this. So this, first things is you're going to take this over to the iron, and you're going to fold in each short edge a 1/4 inch and press it, and then what you'll end up with is this little sleeve. And then once this is stitched, you can't hardly see it, but I did stitch it. Come on, focus. There we go. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go over and we're going to fold this in half and press it to make like a little 2-inch rod pocket. So let me go do that. And now we are ready to layer this all up. So we're going to lay this guy out. you're going to take the little rod pocket that's been pressed and center it on the top there. And then you're going to take the backing that is right sides together and we're going to layer that on top. And then what we're going to do is we're going to start right somewhere in here, just stitch all the way around and leave an opening for turning. And I like to clip all these layers together with Wonder clips. So that's what we're going to do. And I'm going to iron my back before I put it together. So let me once again go over, put the sleeve at the top of the door panel on the right side, put the backing on the wrong side, Wonder clip around, stitch all the way around, leaving about a 4-inch opening for turning, and then we're going to turn it right side out. Alright, so here it is all layered up. Again, I have the little sleeve tucked in here. It's tucked in on this end, and I've clipped it all the way around with Wonder clips, and I'm going to leave this open for turning. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch around it, and then we'll come back. So we've got this sewn all the way around and I have an opening. So you want to keep, we're going to top stitch it closed, so it doesn't matter if it's a little bit bigger. You want it big enough to get your hand in here because it is so long. So I stick my hand in all the way to the end and gently pull it out from one side. And then we have to repeat on the other and pull this guy out. Voila. All right, now it's just a big old wad. So what you need to do is just take with your hand a purple thing, a stick, a dowel, whatever, pop out the corners. And the same thing on this side. And your little sleeve will pop out for you. You've done it right, it will be there. There we go. Now, I'm going to smooth this out, flip it over. There we go. So we have it with the pocket at the top and we have this opening. So what we do need to do is go over to the ironing board. We're going to press this in nice and even, which I'm not getting here on camera, but I will make sure it's even over there. And we're going to have this nice and flat and pressed. Then what we need to do is we need to flip this side down and we're going to hand stitch this in place like a sleeve on a quilt. And then once that is stitched in place, we will come back around and we're going to top stitch this edge all the way around using the blue thread, and that will finish this and close this little opening we have here without having to hand sew it. If you don't want to do the top stitching and you're already hand whip stitching this down, you can just hand whip stitch that closed and not have the top stitch, but I think it kind of gives it a more finished look. So I'm going to go ahead and get that done, and then we're going to be ready to put our dowel into the pocket and get it ready to hang on the door. So let me get that done. Again, whip stitch this down first, top stitch around the whole thing. Be right back. So now that we've got it all put together, we are ready to do our door hanger part so that we can hang this on the back of our door. So the easiest way to do that is to go get a dowel. This is, what did I say at the beginning here? It's a 16-inch dowel. I think it's a 1/2 inch, but it probably, yeah, this is a 1/2 inch dowel. You could probably go with a skinnier one. This is what I had on hand. And what I do is I slide it through my sleeve that I put on the back and center it. And then I take my ribbon. Now I have I'm going to say a yard of ribbon is what you need. This is about 30 inches. And what I do is I tie one side on and just tie a knot. Now you can use a little glue to glue this on, but it seems to be staying just fine without glue, so I don't think you need to do that. Just tie your nice little knot. And then you go over here and you're going to tie a knot on this side. Now this is, I'll show you here in a second, a little trick for you. So you don't want, I mean, you're not going to be able to tie it super tight to the dowel anyway, but you don't want it so tight you can't move it. And I'm going to tie another one. I didn't make this long enough. You guys definitely need a yard. I only cut 30 inches and you could use those 6 inches. So again, we're just tying this on. And then when you look at it, there we go. It doesn't, it looks twisted. So what I've done is I've just taken this off carefully, flipped it over, and brought it back to the front. And that will give you, well, in this case, let's see here. Yeah, this time I want to do it so this is on the front. Same thing here. We want that on the front. So play with it, and if you need to adjust it from side to side, and just pull it off. And then I have these long tails, so I'm just going to take a pair of scissors and hope I just grabbed a pair of sharp ones out of my studio. And we're just going to cut the ribbon at an angle. Voila. It's done. So we are ready to hang this on our front door, back door, side door, bedroom door, and you can just slide things around to make sure it hangs straight. I like this method because it's adjustable. So there it is. There is our Inspire door hanger. It was a quick and easy one this month. Make sure that you check out all the other videos and all the other projects. Remember to check out the MulQueen block of the month. These were the yummy colors this month. I have had so much fun as we're wrapping this up with picking these, designing this project. I hope you've enjoyed it too. Make sure you leave me a comment below and let me know if you're stitching along or just doing some of the projects. I would love to hear from you guys. So as always, I want to thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.